start doing the tribute. I can see until we got to
there we go. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started at 1:05. Welcome everybody to the Trinity County Fire Safe Council meeting this Thursday, August 28th, 2025. Still have some folks coming in, but we're going to go ahead and get rolling. I'm going to go ahead and do introductions. We'll start in the room. My name is Kelly Sheen. I'm the Executive Director for the Trinity County Resource Conservation District. And since we have unfortunately lost Mr. Philip Sidney as our council chair, I'm filling in the interim. We'll be running the meeting today. I'll hand to my left.
Hello, this is Skylar Fisher, Trinity County Fire Safe Council Coordinator with the Trinity County RCD.
Crystal Hodges, GIS Technician, Trinity County RCD.
Chris Prendeville, we were fire. Chris Losey, Flora.
Randy Paris, Watershed Research and Training Center.
Emily Acer, Project Coordinator, Trinity County Resource Conservation District.
Great. That's everybody in the room. I will now go to the big board, and I'll be starting in the upper left corner. Shay, we'll go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Shay Callahan. I'm the Program Director of the Forest Health Department here at the Trinity County RCD.
Great, thanks, Shay. Charlie.
Hey guys, Charlie Holthouse, Neighborhood Ambassador for the Rush Creek area.
Great, thanks for joining us, Charlie.
Yep.
Josh. Josh Kozine, would you like to introduce yourself? I believe Josh Kozine is a reporter for the Trinity Journal. If he gets a chance, he can introduce himself, unless that little message is got no
Speaker.
no speaker right now. Okay. Let's see, moving on. Larry Glass.
Larry Glass, SAFE and the Trinity Collaborative. I'm the South Fork Mountain Local Area Advisor.
Thanks for joining us today, Larry. Gina.
Yeah, hello everybody. Willow Creek Fire Safe Council representative and ambassador for the Salyer, South Fork Road area.
Great, thanks for joining us, Gina. Rick Romney. Rick Romney, are you able to introduce yourself? Okay, I'm not familiar with Rick or who he represents, so I'll move on. Michael Allen.
Excuse me, Mike Allen from the Reading BLM.
Hey, Mike, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Chris.
Hello, afternoon all. I'm Chris Cole, the District Conservationist for the Natural Resource Conservation Service for Trinity County.
Great, thanks for joining us, Chris. Jerry.
Hi everybody, Jerry Cousins. I'm with the Trinity County Collaborative and also the local area representative for Weaverville.
Excellent, thank you, Jerry. Adam.
Let me see if it works. Hey everyone, Adam Kuntz. I'm the fuels planner for Mad River Ranger District and happy to be with you.
Excellent, thank you for joining us, Adam. Casey.
Hi everyone, Casey Toole, the Burn Program Coordinator for North Coast Air Quality.
Excellent, thank you for joining us, Casey. Nate.
Good afternoon, Nate Orich. I'm the fuels planner for the Weaverville and Big Bar Ranger districts.
Great, thank you for joining us, Nate. Bob.
Yep, Bob Doucette, Public Affairs for Shasta Trinity National Forest.
Excellent, thank you for joining us, Bob. We have a phone number ending in 7505.
Good afternoon. Sorry, Kelly, I'm in transit. Arena Irwin, Health and Human Services Agency in OES, Trinity County.
Very good. Thank you for joining us, Arena. And last, I think, but not least, Cindy Childress.
Hi guys, Cindy Childress with the Neuromic Wintu Nation. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Thank you, Cindy. I believe that's everybody. Did I miss anybody? Is Rick Romney there?
Yeah, I couldn't find my mute. Sorry about that. I'm off 13 Dips Road, south of Hayfork, and I'm just seeing what we're all about here.
Oh, very good. Thank you for joining us. Your public is always welcome. So thanks for joining us today. Okay, anybody else? That covers everybody. All right. Next on the agenda, additions and changes to the agenda. We had one request to move our draft guidelines for requesting letters of support discussion down a little bit because we have a few people that will be joining the meeting today a little bit late. So we will, I think, go ahead and skip to the next agenda item after that. But unless there's any other additions or changes to the agenda. All right, hearing none. We're up to request for letter of support from the Watershed Research and Training Center. Randy, you want to speak to this?
Yes, definitely. Hi, everybody. The Watershed Center and the Trinity County RCD do a countywide chipping program every year in the spring and the fall. And we've largely been getting funding through either RAC or Title III from the county. That's been sort of the basis of our funding here for several years. And I think we all feel like maybe that funding source is a little less reliable these days, and the future's uncertain. So we've both been co-looking for other options. So this California Fire Safe Council grant would contribute towards either 3 or 4 seasons of chipping, just depending on the relative participation. And our goal would be to target something like 400 or 500 landowner chipping engagements, I guess. Sorry, I feel like I've been running today. Am I not feeling super articulate? And then we've also built in language to talk about working with folks who don't have the physical capability to prep for chipping, to do the actual defensible space. You know, we all know that there are elders in our community who can't participate in chipping. And so we wrote this so that we could have some ability to work with landowners who can't do the prep work themselves. And so there's a cap on the grant at $225,000. Our proposal would ask for what we can ask for, so the entire amount. So yeah, that's the part of it. And we're hoping that the Fire Safe Council would like to provide a letter of support to the proposal. And any questions you might have, I'm open to feedback and questions. So please let me know.
And we are sharing the letters proposal on the screen, excuse me, letter of support on the screen now, and it's also in the chat if you want to look at it on here that way.
Hey, Randy, this is Jerry. I have a question. How many years funding did you say it covers?
We think it'll be about 2 years worth of funding. The grant would be split with a subaward to the RCD. As the grant writer, we're keeping a little bit more than half the funding just so we can manage the grant and do the reporting. And it will largely be Sophia Sadie, our coordinates the community chipping program for the Watershed Center. So she'll be the one, you know, coordinating with the RCD, getting the word out, for the, chipping program. We really see the community chipping program as central to our outreach efforts, you know, raising awareness around, Firewise communities, maintaining the
Right.
Firewise community certification, and then giving people advice and coaching them on establishing defensible space.
So it covers, you're thinking 2 years funding. Are there any other dollars for chipping coming into the county besides what you might get here?
Yeah, you know, last month, I believe it was, the Fire Safe Council voted on a letter of support for the fire prevention request that the RCD prepared. So hopefully the two things can work in concert. And state money would match federal money. So we're hoping that this is a really kind of elegant way to accomplish more chipping, working with people who need support, and leveraging the federal funding source that is essentially what this California Fire Safe Council money is with state dollars.
Sounds great. Can you remind me how much the other application was for?
I think it was around 900,000, but it wasn't only for chipping. It was chipping and then some maintenance on existing projects that the RCD have been working on.
Okay, thank you.
And of course, that gives a longer term. The prevention grants are normally a 5-year term. And this is structured to respond to the California Fire Safe Council's kind of period of time that they're kind of coaching grantees to structure the proposal to meet.
Great. Any other discussion or questions? Or we
Okay, question.
go.
Sorry, is there any relationship between this and the grant that you're requesting?
This free fall community chipping, it's the countywide community chipping program, but it's for this fall.
Right.
And so we already have other funding to utilize to do this fall and probably into the spring. And then the new funding would kick in after the funding that we have currently.
So the grant is for more or less a continuation of this project. So then I just did want to say something. I'm looking at the locations here. And aside from the November 3rd to November 6th, which covers Douglas City, Hayfork Summit, Buckhorn, and Deer Lake Springs, I don't see any chipping in the South County. And I'm wondering, is there a lack of interest? Maybe I'm missing, I don't see.
These are the
Hayfork.
RCD dates and they take care of North County.
I see.
So I'm not seeing any South County information in this current flyer.
But there is. Okay.
Yeah.
Typically, we create two different outreach pushes. So one for like the North Central County, and then the other, the Watershed Center, prepares outreach for like South Fork.
Has that gone out yet?
No, we had just finished confirming the RCD dates, so we figured we would share that with this group because we're planning to outreach on the RCD and Watershed Center dates in a separate piece of outreach material that's going to go into the Trinity Journal that has the combined dates in it. But we were so proud of our fun new flyer that we figured we would bring it and share it.
Well, yeah, you might not, if you had much more, you wouldn't be able to fit it there. So I just wanted to make sure there was something in South County. I'm sure that I would imagine there's some people that I could direct to this.
Yeah, we're hoping to send out the combined dates to the newsletter. We're hoping for the ad to go into the Trinity Journal next week for the Watershed Center and the Trinity County RCD dates next Wednesday. So on the same day, having all the dates be blasted out to the emails with the online application forms.
I found the only people that I work with I've never picked up the Trinity Journal, and are not tied into any local group. So just once I know the dates, then there may be occasions where it'd be relevant. So I'm just glad to hear that because I didn't see it since.
Yeah, and then we, in addition to social media, we do recognize there are portions of our community that don't read the paper, they don't maybe get on social media, so we do put flyers up in physical locations across these communities, because we have people running around all the time, you know, managing fuels and doing other things in the field, so we hope that the physical flyering is really getting at those people, like when they go to the post office or the market, they're seeing it at that point as well.
Yeah, and there's not only the online application, we typically accept phone number coming into the watershed or RCD offices. I think we get at least one faxed community chipping application a year, so we try to make it as accessible as possible.
Great. Any other questions or discussion on this letter of support? Okay, hearing none. Is there any? I'll kind of go with the kind of the inverse. Are there any objections to the Trinity County Fire Safe Council signing this letter of support for the Watershed Center's chipping proposal? Okay, I'm seeing and hearing none. So then I will go ahead and sign off as interim chair. Thank you very much for your consideration. Get that signed here in a moment. Very good. Okay. Moving on to the next item, we will go to the Fire Safe Council Coordinator update. Oh, actually, before we jump into that, there was a couple of individuals that came online. Ben, would you like to introduce yourself? Ben Kellogg, there you go.
Hi there, Ben Kellogg, Weaverville. I'm on the board of a couple different nonprofits, and I'm a volunteer board member for the council in Weaverville.
Very good. Thank you for joining us, Ben. And then somebody that came in as Skylar Fisher, late addition.
I don't know how that happened. Oh, sorry. Tom March, Caltrans.
Tom March. All right. Hey, Tom, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, I tried to get Joe McNeely on board. He might be pretty busy right now, so we'll see if he is able to join. And he's the superintendent for all of Trinity County for Caltrans maintenance.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you for joining us, Tom.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. And Arena has switched over from being on Zoom land to being here in person.
I wasn't kidding when I said I was in transport.
Very good. Well, thank you for joining us in person. Awesome. Very good. So now we will move on to the Fire Safe Council Coordinator update.
Okay. August has been another busy month. We were left by Emily Acer as a Grizzly Fellow and then rejoined by Emily Acer as Project Coordinator. So very excited to have her rejoin the team. She's been helping do some outreach on our wildland fire assessment program to participating volunteer fire departments and also with general outreach and project coordination support. We have been working on the renewal process for our 14 Firewise communities and reporting in the reporting that we've been getting from the community on Firewise contributions. So that's the hours or financial investment that you spend in either wildfire resilience work on your property or in your community. So it could be things like improving your defensible space or education and outreach activities. All of that can be reported to the Fire Safe Council and support the continued certification of your Firewise community. And we actually had our second Firewise board meeting of the year yesterday for our Weaverville Firewise board. So got a lot of great ideas on our updated 3-year action plan. Many of our Firewise communities need their 3-year action plans renewed this year. So that's looking at what defensible space, home hardening, evacuation planning, and education and outreach goals the Firewise boards have for 26 through 28. One of the great ideas that came up last night was for the Fire Safe Council to work with local contractors and provide information on fire resistant building materials so that they have that and potentially give it to residents that they're working with. Outside of the Firewise communities maintenance, we've been gearing up for an internal agency review version of the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. Been incorporating a lot of the input that we got in the partner meeting that we had at the start of July. And we've gotten a lot of great new information on projects that have been implemented on the landscape in the past 5 years for partners. So we've been incorporating that data into the CWPP as well. And then to end on, as Kelly mentioned, with Philip Seavey's retirement, we are now seeking a new Fire Safe Council chair. Thankfully, Kelly is serving in the interim, but per the updated MOU, we've identified a rotating basis of having the emergency manager of the county and then a fire chief or assistant chief or their designee. So right now we're hoping to reach out to the Fire Chiefs Association at their upcoming meeting, I believe the second week of September, and gauge interest if there's anyone interested in participating. And how can I forget? We were talking about community shipping dates. As I mentioned during the letter of support discussion item, the Watershed Center and RCD have already been prepping for fall community chipping, which is going to start the first week of October. We're going to have an ad in the Trinity Journal next Wednesday, and the Fire Safe Council is going to push that out in our Fire Safe Trinity newsletter and do some outreach on social medias, start the physical canvassing as well. So we're excited for that to start. And for the RCD, we'll be doing week blocks, and then for the Watershed Center, it'll be every Thursday, I believe, in October.
Yeah, we try to structure it so it falls on Thursday, but then we follow up with whatever landowners can't fit in that day. So they're generally lead through. Yeah.
And that is it for me.
Great. Very good. Thank you, Skylar. Is there any, are there any questions or comments for Skylar? Or coordinator role? Okay, hearing none. We're going to continue to hold off on the draft guidelines until we have a couple of other attendees arrive. So that'll put us into project updates. And we're starting A to Z this time. So BLM and Mike, do you have a report out for this group?
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon. So Mike Allen, Reading BLM. So most updated reports, our main focus this winter is going to be pile burning. So we have piles, we have about 20 acres in Lewiston, quite a bit in the Reading Indian Creek area, over 200, and the Weaverville Community Forest, that's also well over 200. Also in Little Browns Creek. We do have a large machine pile off Oregon Mountain. There got a couple complaints about it. We haven't forgotten about it. We're going to get to it when we're burning around there. So our main focus is going to be burning. We've been moving some stuff around, freeing up some guys to plan for this winter, working with the CAL FIRE MA crews. So that's our main focus. Upcoming projects that we're working on in Hayfork, the Hayfork parcels with the Trinity Watershed, have a project with them that is moving forward. Other projects that we're looking into doing is the Helena Junction City project. That area is an owl habitat area, so those surveys do take up to 2 years. So that will be a while along out, but also Union Hill Pond area and the Douglas City area, we're working on projects there to for fuel reduction, community protection. And then the only other project that has been completed with the watershed is the Reading Indian Creek Unit A and B, the expansion. Those have been masticated to their full ability. Unit B was more slopey, so for safety reasons and our guidelines, we couldn't masticate the full acreage up there, around 60-ish. But we are going to look at some alternatives up there to finish off that plot. If it's trying to find a different masticator with an arm, or maybe doing some hand cutting and piling. Hand cutting and piling is something we're trying to avoid just because of the sheer amount that we have in the 5 counties. So, but we're still looking into it, trying to come up with a game plan and those things. Any questions? Feel free to ask.
Is there a public link to the data that you were sharing with the Fire Safe Council?
I don't believe there's a public link, but I have given the Fire Safe Council and RCD like all of our work statements and shape files of our project works. So they would be somewhere to like tap into those, or if you're interested more in a direct link, you can always email me.
Okay, because I'm thinking for what's Ready Trinity, where we're looking at emergent, when our communications with our all of our small micro communities are like, what are you guys doing to ensure that the fire reduction is happening? And Mike is reporting out to all of the things that their plans are, and their strategic planning for winter is. It would be great to be able to provide that information, or even we can add a link to the Ready Trinity page so that we don't have to constantly update the PDFs. But communication is just such a key to reducing anxiety in our populations, especially our aging communities.
So maybe that's something that we can work with. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great. We've been working on a public facing partner project viewer, so we can plug in projects that have either been recently completed or are ongoing, or have some level of planning already prepared. And so folks can go in there and then poke around to their community or wherever they like to see, and you can click the individual project area to get a little bit more information.
Yeah, and we can just link that into the Ready Trinity, so it just directly goes to your guys' public facing page and be able to pull off all of that data information. Yeah, love that. Thank you.
Great. Anything else for Mike at BLM? Great. Thank you very much for that report out, Mike. Appreciate it.
No problems. Thanks for having me back. It's been busy. I just got back from the assignment the other day. Things are a little busy around the office, and we're still jumping through hoops and trying to get some hiring done to alleviate my workload, but still active. I will answer emails when I get around to it, or I'm around. But we have a lot of projects going on, a lot of stuff. So, anyone can feel free to email me, no problems. And I guess the other thing is that the Fire Safe Council, our RCD like GIS specialists, please do reach out to me about shape files and getting that all like lined up so that we can have the correct shape files and the years and the naming convention and stuff like that.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mike. All right. Tom March, since we have you here, do you have any reports out for the group for Caltrans?
I was hoping McNeely was going to be there to add for the maintenance side of things on where they're at, but I'm sure you guys have seen the mowing operations that have been going on and that had ceased during fire duration, whatever times. We are working on a project for the Hay Fork to Douglas City tree mortality and fire fuel break, and hopefully that'll be awarded by November. I was hoping it was going to be a lot sooner, but these are the way things work. So that's for projects. That's all I have right now for major project construction.
Very good. Thanks, Tom. Are there any questions or comments for Tom? Caltrans. Okay, hearing none. Thank you so much, Tom.
All right, thank you.
Up next would be Flora. Chris, do you have anything for the group?
Oh, early this time. I wanted to share a couple observations and then just do an update on projects. One, couple things I thought that maybe the group should be aware of, because I deal with a lot of cannabis growers in Florida. One of the things that we're seeing that has been happening a few times is when an individual is in the process of obtaining state or county licensing, they have to sign a form saying they will, quote, maintain site conditions. And individuals have gotten in trouble for making modifications to their property after having signed that. What I'm seeing occasionally is individuals who are worried to do anything that might enhance their defensible space because they have signed something saying they would maintain site conditions. And so, this is something we've talked to the county, and they've told us that no, you can do defensible space, but there's still that perception that once you've pursued licensing, which in some cases can take years, then you better not cut more than a blade of grass. You can mow your lawn, but better not cut a bush or prune a tree. There is that belief. I've seen properties with little trees this size clustered around developed areas that can't cut them. There's a promise not to cut it. And sometimes they don't even know that after they get their license, they can do more modifications. So that's something that I think, there could be better communication and potentially a better policy, a clearer policy from the county that would allow people to do more defensible space work if they happen to have a farm. Related to this, there's another, I don't want to get into the details because, our clients are, we don't want to get to specific details of the clients, but we have one client where there was some prior cannabis growing from a previous prior owner. And because it was within a stream setback from a watercourse setback, that individual needs to now do a disturbance remediation plan. But what that actually kind of means is that the water board wants us to plant trees and brush next to their house within the 150 feet of where they're supposed to be clearing. So the water board is requiring this individual to plant trees and brush within the zone. So I haven't really worked this one out. I need to have a conversation with CAL FIRE, need to kind of, have these discussions. But what I'm just wanted to share a couple examples of where the rules that are set up to kind of protect resources associated with cannabis farming are pushing landowners to do things that may actually be against defensible space creation. So.
Well, and broader fire resiliency goals, it's not just a defensible space, just is our first line of attack, but ideally it would be nice if people were thinking about forest health and fire resiliency across their whole property. And if our regulations are reinforcing bad practices in terms of fuel loading and forest density or vegetation density, that's a little dismaying. Definitely.
Does the water board, are they looking for specific species of trees and brush?
No, but they do say that grass isn't enough.
Okay. So instead of planting pine or cedar, you could plant a hardwood with broadleaves and keep those well watered. And can it be an issue for fire behavior? Yes. Is it the least worst answer, right?
Right. And so I need to go back and forth and see how much ground cover do they want to, are they expecting a mulch layer,
Yeah.
50 feet from the guy's house, or is it okay for me to plant, we're talking about a 1/10 of an acre that needs an engineering plan, but is it okay for me to plant 2 trees at that 1/10 of an acre and will they be okay with that? That's kind of the question. There is another rule in the cannabis regulation that says that if you cut an oak tree down for cannabis, you are required to replant 3 somewhere else on your property. I mean, that sounds nice. Depending on the size of the property, where are you going to put them? Do you want to triple the size of your oaks on the remainder of your property? But that's part of the, so these are some things that hit me today as I was coming over, like rules that seem to be pointing away from fire resiliency that you might want to talk about at some point. So we're going to have good discussions here.
Ben Kellogg, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, as far as so question would be, do the farmers, are they worried that they're going to get slapped with something, or have they already been slapped with something and they're scared about doing this? And then the second question would be, has anyone possibly gone to the planning commission, put something on the agenda, have staff take a look at clarifying, changing some of these archaic, interesting rules?
Yeah,
that's for you.
So there is an individual that was cutting some brush and trees whose, while they had an open license and the license was rejected. Now, I will say that that landowner was not exactly, I can't say for certain that the way that landowner was cutting brush and trees was necessarily a fire safe thing, but that individual knows a lot of people. And so, you know, obviously now people are like, well, he got his license rejected because he cut some manzanita and some grapevine. So I better be really careful.
And that was the reason why he was rejected. It stated that.
Yes.
Cutting manzanita.
Yeah. But I will say that in that case, it's not clear that individual was really, you know, they were certainly removing vegetation, but was it great? You know, was it great fuel reduction or was it just clearing? You know, like that's arguable. But what is true is that he was removing vegetation, and his license was rejected. So he has to reapply for his license. So I basically lost a year. The other thing is I've thought about having some higher level discussions. I think at the county level, I want to work more with the local government to kind of get a clear policy on what they're asking. But the rule about the revegetation of a disturbed area, that is state water board general order. So it's not even regional, it's state. Same thing with the 3 oaks for every oak. That's a state rule. So, you know, I don't think anybody's been dinged yet for not planting 3 oaks for every oak they cut. But if you've got, say you've got a 3-acre parcel and you're developing about an acre for cannabis, then you're going to have to go, and legally you would have to go, and every oak that you take out, you would need to plant 3 on the portion of the property that you're not developing, which maybe that isn't great forest management to just go planting oaks in an area that, you know, is probably overstocked anyway.
So maybe at some point in time, perhaps we draft a letter to the water board asking them to look at their policies and you know, point out the discrepancies in, you know, local policies as far as mitigation compared to what they have on the books with planting trees.
I would love that. and I mean, that's why I wrote it for this group, because this group can speak with a lot more authority than just me.
So I think also it's important for us to read the actual policy or code that you're citing, because taking one piece out of context is exactly that. It's taking it can also be defined in a different way. What I'm hearing you say is that the board also said that cleaning up space was not considered, you know, when you're cleaning up defense and making defensible space is not considered a violation. But is there any verbiage outside of just you speaking with the board that
was with the
that
cannabis
indicates
director,
that?
not even the board.
Okay.
That was just
And that was just a verbal confirmation. So what I'm hearing you say is you need something that is in writing, something that is defining, that you could give to your clients. Are they clients?
Yeah.
So you need something in writing that's with your clients. Now, and I'm curious, how is the Fire Safe Council part of that piece?
my thought was that this group might have some suggestions, and, you know, might be willing to take a look at this more specifically, so that, you know, we do need to be careful, because, you know, I agree that if people are going to be creating defensible space or fuel reduction in general, that it not be, you know, this is not about creating a license to just cut trees wherever you want. This is about enabling landowners to create defensible space and to do fuel reduction on their property, perhaps while they're under the watchful eye of various cannabis-related authorities. So I think with that, there's a lot of it is communication with the board, and then coming up with a clearer policy that can be articulated to my clients and to anyone else who might be going through the process of licensing. And you know, it always amazes me because you hear about how bad the price is of cannabis right now, but there's still people coming in the door asking to get licensed. So there are still people that are going from, in most cases, you know, well, I wouldn't say most cases. In some cases, there was illegal growing on that property before to legal growing. In other cases, there hasn't been any growing on that property. So that does happen. And so with folks really concerned, I was talking to one individual who was certain that Cal Fire will not allow you to cut a tree over 8 inches on your property without a permit, without a forest. That's not true. That's not true. That's kind of a word of mouth thing. So that if you're cutting under 8 inches, then you're probably not for sure. That's true, but there's no law that says that.
The Fire Safe Council program staff have been working with the planning department to like put up some education and outreach materials on fire safety in their office, and potentially like having a packet that goes out with new licenses and permits. So as that develops, we can engage and find out more information about this issue.
I think just a simple thing now that I keep thinking is that, you know, they're signing this agreement that says they have to maintain site conditions. There could probably be more detail on what that means, you know, and what does that mean? No, you're not prohibited from pruning trees that are next to your house. In fact, you're encouraged to do so. Stuff like that.
Thank you.
Is there a state code that defines clearing land versus defensible space?
I would have to like in what
Context, right?
Yeah.
I think more in like that private land, probably commercial land, what he's looking at, if there's something that we can use that's coming from the state, because I don't know, there may be something in county code as well. But something that has that help with that defining that landowners can have that backing, and the county can use that as backing as well, as some parameters.
We will investigate further.
Good. Last thing is, we're still working on the blue fire restoration, having some going back and forth, getting that. There's NCRP has added some additional requirements, so we're trying to work through those. But planning to apply for a grant for blue fire restoration in Coast Mountain to do the work to cut the dead trees and do reforestation and fuel reduction. So that's still happening. That's just there's some new rules that NCRP imposed. I'd love to chat with you some other time. That may be a bit of a challenge.
Is it related to insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the same request. So it seems to be a new thing for them.
Maybe we can pool our collective knowledge.
Sounds good.
All right, great.
Yep.
That was it. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris. Any other questions or comments for Flora, Chris? All right, hearing none. The individual that requested the delay of the discussion about the draft guidelines for requesting letters of support has arrived. So we are going to depart for a moment from project updates and backtrack a little bit and go to the discussion for the draft guidelines of requesting letters of support, Trinity County Fire Safe Council. I think I will be handing this off to you, Skylar.
Yes. At our last Fire Safe Council meeting, there was a discussion regarding last minute letter of support requests and how much leeway or how much time we wanted before a Fire Safe Council meeting, before there was any potential cutoff for receiving a letter of support, or if there was a letter of support request after a Fire Safe Council meeting, or that was needed between Fire Safe Council meetings, how much review time folks wanted. And so there was a lot of really great conversation during that meeting. So took notes and started putting together some guidelines regarding letter of support requests. And it became larger than the original discussion because I thought it would help to write down the pieces of guidance I've gotten from different members of the Fire Safe Council, either through letters of support that have come, questions for additional information that I've received when letters of support have been sent out through email, questions that have been asked when reviewing letters. So I added background context for the guidelines, sample required information that every letter of support should include, or information that should be submitted by requesting organizations or individuals for a letter of support. And then also included required submittal timelines, decision processes, presenting the project. For example, there was some discussion at the last meeting when we were talking about those between requests. So the letters of support that maybe the letter or proposal wasn't prepared in time for the Fire Safe Council meeting, but the proposal is due before the next Fire Safe Council meeting. Within the presenting the project section, I did include a stipulation where it says, okay, there is some lenience. You do need to have 5 business days, and this is of course all proposed. You need 5 business days for the council to review the letter of support over email, but with the understanding that if there are no objections to the letter, that you will be presenting the letter and the project proposal to the next Fire Safe Council meeting. So you still have to meet that requirement step. And the final thing that I included was, I think it would be great if individuals or organizations submitting requests for letters of support who receive the letters of support can report back to the group and tell us whether or not the letter of support was successful, and especially if it wasn't successful, if there's anything we can change within the content of these letters so that they are more supportive of these applications. So I have the first page of that guideline on the Zoom share. Going to the second page, it should also be available in the chat for those on Zoom, and then for us folks in the room, I think everyone has a copy.
So in the MOU with for Fire Safe Council, is it a subset of the Disaster Council?
No.
It's a standalone.
There's no MOU.
There's not an MOU with the county for Fire Safe Council.
There's no MOU with any
Okay, it's a standalone.
Yep.
State funded.
currently.
Skylar, is this the letter you're referring to?
The guidelines.
Oh, okay, other page, this one?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, the
yeah,
front and back.
thank you.
Is there anything in here that would provide the council with information if it's a competitive bid that other, so for an example, there's some grants out there that if one entity applies for that and receives it, doesn't matter how much that money is, it could be just a small $12,000. It represents for whole of county, and no other entity could apply for that. Instead of doing more of a regional base and apply for 150,000 for multiple entities. Is there anything in this guidance that would help the fire council be able to ascertain that information?
Not in the current guidelines, no.
Really hasn't ever been a problem.
It has.
for people applying for fire safe grants and stuff. Very collaborative kind of effort. So everybody tries to work together.
Yeah.
Together the best.
And I don't,
proposal
yeah.
possible.
And no, and I'm not saying that it's done maliciously. I think it's done without, because just people don't know what they don't know. And we have so many little micro communities. We have small volunteer fire departments. We have, they have the fire chiefs meeting, but they just don't know all of the pieces of it. And I'm just thinking, with going through the fire safe council, looking at your bylaws, and this being like that hub and that support for prevention, it was just a question, because communication is one of those that we all can do better at. It's not a perfect thing. And so creating guidelines helps encourage that communication and transparency.
I think that there have been a few times while I've been in this role where like two organizations like the RCD and Watershed Center have like applied for the same ask and have also submitted for a letter of support. In theory, like maybe only one is selected, maybe both could be selected, but I think the council, like Pat was saying, if the project is consistent with the goals and mission of the Fire Safe Council, even if maybe one proposal gets funded, then at least one proposal gets funded. We're happy about that.
I like the guidelines. Figure I better say something. Wait.
I was a little nervous.
Okay. We've had enough time to review. Are there any comments in the room or on Zoom about the guidelines? Is this an adoption or something?
This is Jerry. I have a question on, the only thing that gave me pause on the second page was about the chair's discretion if it's approved. I'm not sure what the intent of that statement is.
That's a good question. I did tool on that language for a while. So similar with the Watershed Center's recent ask for a letter of support, a lot of times we don't necessarily do a vote. It is that, does anyone oppose this? And then no one says anything, and then the chair says approved. I could keep it as through vote, as that is a type of vote, and remove any confusion caused by at the chair's discretion.
Well, I think the way we've been asking for any opposition is actually kind of a vote.
Right.
I guess I'm wanting it to be by maybe a consensus of the Fire Safe Council. I just don't know what that sets up when you use that language about it's at the discretion of the chair.
I can take that out and say can vote, or I can just keep that second sentence in that paragraph.
Yeah, I think eliminating that would be good.
Okay. Did you have any feedback, Larry?
I was going to say the process we've been using is basically consensus because people get asked if there's anybody that objects, nobody objects, it goes forward. So that's consensus.
Do we want to specifically call it out by consensus in the guideline?
I think so.
Okay. That was one of the things that I wanted to ask in the second paragraph after that in decisions. I did write, if we do that email review, if I receive even one word that is, I'm not comfortable with this, or I need more information, and the information can't come, then we won't go forward with signing the letter of support. But it sounds like if we are going through consensus in the meetings, then that would be consistent with the meeting voting.
And I would recommend adding in the content, you know, if this is a competitive bid and if there's any other known partners that are applying for it.
Wouldn't use competitive bids.
Or a competitive grant.
But some organizations may not know if another organization is applying.
Absolutely, and then they can say no unknown sources are applying.
No other sort, yeah.
I mean, the ideal is that we do know the applications going in from the county partners, and it would be ideal if we were coordinating submissions. I don't think there's been a case since I've been at the Watershed Center where the RCD has competed with the Watershed Center and vice versa. We really do try to
Work
sequence
together.
these things so that we're not competing. And I think broadly applicable, that's how I see the relationship across the Fire Safe Council organizations.
So if there was growth within this organization or change of leadership, change of different pieces of it, you know, just looking at the 26 years of me working in the local government, I've seen so many changes. I've seen just amazing communication, and I've seen some that had some areas of opportunity. So it was just off of that. That was my recommendation. It was nothing that was currently here. It was just more of always making sure that there's total communication. And if you feel like you don't need that, that's good too.
Should we add like either under background or in a coordination section that Fire Safe Council staff should promote open funding opportunities and support the coordination between organizations, or should we leave that out?
I don't think it really gives a letter of support. I mean, it's what we do.
Right.
And I've been doing since 1999.
The year I started with the county.
I started with Fire Safe Council.
Is there any other required information folks would like to see? Right now we have area targeted type of work and approximate funding amount and source. Anything else that you'd want to see?
Okay. Any other comments or discussion on this topic? Is this approval vote or by consensus?
By consensus for Fire Safe Council staff to follow these guidelines when processing these.
Okay. Very good. So
Would that change?
as amended, these guidelines will be utilized as we're processing the letters of support. Is there anybody that contests this, or shall we move forward with it as amended? Okay, then that is approved by consensus. Thank you for the discussion on that.
Well, we work.
Very good. Okay. I guess without further ado, maybe I should have you introduce yourself, and I should have I'm remiss in not having asked you that before.
Okay, Pat Frost, Trinity Center Community Service.
Very good. Thank you, Pat. Okay, let's see, getting back to project updates. We are up to North Coast Unified Air Quality Management District. That'd be Casey. Anything to report to the group?
Yeah, I have a couple things. We in Humboldt County, we currently run radio messaging for prescribed fire outreach. It's like 60-second radio slots. And we just have, the purpose of these is to educate the public about the benefits of prescribed burning from a variety of perspectives. And so we've had CAL FIRE, Forest Service, the Mid-Klamath Watershed Council, the Southern Humboldt PBA, and the Cultural Fire Management Council and others do some radio slots. And so we'd like to extend this offer to Trinity County. So just some food for thought for you guys. I don't know what radio stations are in Trinity County. So if you guys can think about it and, send me an email with whatever our popular stations there that we could, a lot of people listen to and put messaging on. And then also if any organizations or agencies over there are interested in, running one of these radio messages, you guys can just kind of write up whatever you want to get out there about prescribed fire, or fire safety, and then get it recorded, and we'll sponsor that. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys to think about in Trinity County.
Casey, does it have to be a station based out of Trinity, or could it be one that Trinity County residents listen to?
Just whatever you guys listen to. I don't know what, runs over there on the radio. We have a few broadcasting stations here in Eureka that we utilize to, air them in Humboldt County. So I don't know what you guys have in Trinity County, but whatever you have and whatever you guys listen to, just feel free to, send that over an email, and I can reach out to them and see if we can get something going for Trinity County.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then also if anyone wants to do some messages, we can, get you guys set up to record those too and get those out there. And I'll throw my email in the chat. I know I've done that on past meetings, but just so that way everyone has it, if you guys have anything you want to send me. The other thing is with just the recent lightning storms, I just want to throw it out there that we do air quality advisories when there are active wildfires. And so we'll email those out in the morning. So if anyone isn't on that email list for air quality advisories and they want to get on that, they can email our, it's a specific email for wildfires. So it is wildfire@ncuaqmd.org. And if you email that, I can get you guys added to the email list. And I'll add that also in the chat.
What radio station do you
I'll have to investigate.
Yeah, we'll have to do some investigation. I know there's some. There's 2 NPR stations, but they don't take adverts.
I think-
Or maybe they do.
They do.
When I was a kid, it was Mix 95.1.
Yeah, I think a lot, Q97.
Yeah, Q97 too, yeah.
And then the Humboldt stations for Southern Trinity, I bet you it's probably very similar to it. They're getting them from, our Western Trinity and Southern Trinity probably are already getting those PSAs. It's probably more of our northern. What is radio stations do you guys listen to at Trinity Center and Coffee Creek? Okay, that's what I listen to in Junction City, but I'm sure there's other stations. So, yeah.
But you know that there's somebody locally bought the licenses for low wattage FM stations. So Travis Fitch is working on getting this going as primarily public service radio station. So, but I don't think it's up and running.
That's great. Well, Casey, that's a really interesting program. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. We'll do a little bit of research and spread that word. See what we can do.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Take advantage of that. Jerry, you have
I just wanted to request, could you put the speaker microphone centrally? It's really hard to hear people at Kelly's end of the table.
This one or
Thanks.
this one go that way?
Yeah. Is that a speaker as
I think that's just this, I think that's
the one
this is the microphone,
No.
not the speaker.
No, it's
Opposite?
It's both. That one thing, that is the phone.
This does not matter.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's the dinosaur. This is the new guy.
This one's the one that should move. That one, go over that,
No,
okay?
you get it.
Pardon us while we remedy our technical difficulties.
Yeah, and then pass the treats over here too.
Down the line. Okay, very good. Is that any better? Okay, is there anything else for Casey at the North Coast Unified Air Quality Management District?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Anything for Casey?
Thanks for all the great info.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. I saw in the chat that Cindy Childress had to step away, so we won't get our Norelmuck Wintu update.
She said she doesn't have any updates.
Yes, thank you. So we're on to NRCS. Chris, are you still on with us?
I am still here. There's not a lot of major updates for NRCS. We are accepting applications for both the EQIP and CSP programs for the fiscal year 26. So that period's open. We don't have a defined date yet when that'll be closed, but it's likely going to be mid-November. So if people are interested in our programs, they'll want to give us a call and get an application in, or we can advise them in other ways. So just wanted to get that out there, and that's it for me. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Chris. Any questions or comments for Chris at the NRCS? Okay, very good. Hearing none. Safe, Larry, anything from the safe side?
Yeah, we had a collaborative field trip to South Fork Mountain, which is a project that I've been pushing for about a decade. And the field trip wasn't all that informative, but we had it. The collaborative members that went on the field trip had a follow-up meeting with the Rangers, Tara and Kristen. And during that meeting, a lot more information was disclosed to us. And I think we're pretty satisfied now that this is in keeping with the collaborative's white paper that we recently had approved by the Board of Supervisors. So I think the Forest Service is right track with this. It's about a 30-mile long fuel break that runs along the ridgetop of South Fork Mountain, which is that's going to be great when it gets finished. Jerry was on that trip too. If he wants to chime in, he can.
So Larry, will there be one NEPA document or will each forest have to do their own?
I believe they're doing it together with Six Rivers in the lead on it.
Okay, thanks.
They're both cooperating on two different projects. Big Ranch is the same deal, only Shasta Trinity's the lead, but the two of them are working together on that one. Same with this one, only Six Rivers in the lead.
Yeah, I think it's a single NEPA, and Nate and Adam were also on the field trip. So maybe they have some comments about it.
Looks like Adam messaged the chat correct. It will be just one NEPA.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Very good. Unless there's anything else from Nate or Adam regarding the field tour.
I'd just like to say I'm glad that the collaborative is feeling satisfied with what's being presented for South Fork Mountain, and I hope that we move forward and that it's a very successful project.
It did, Nate, it did take the additional meeting with Kristen and Tara to get there for sure. They really gave us more information about it.
All right, very good. Thank you for those comments. Is there anything, while we're at it, is there anything else to report out from the Trinity County Collaborative Group?
Just a brief update on Ironside Mountain Camera. Did not make it for fire season this year. However, the Velocity has submitted the application to Forest Service for the special permit, and now it's sitting on somebody's desk at the Forest Service for review. So it is one step forward.
Very good. Okay. Anything for Larry or Jerry on either SAFE or Trinity County Collaborative topics? Okay, hearing none. I'm going to take couple steps back for half a second. I know that Carol Fall is not here to represent Trinity County VFD or Trinity Center, sorry, Trinity Center VFD, but as a board member, do you have anything that you would like to report out from that perspective?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Very good. Then that steps us over to Trinity County OES. I think, Arena, do you have anything to report out with regard to
Or
OES?
Fire Safe Council? I don't think so. I'm not familiar with all of the projects that Phil had prior to his resignation. If he had any of those within the Fire Council, please just email Liz Hamilton and myself, and we can work with you guys through whatever means we have to be able to complete whatever goals those were. Been working through a lot of the agendas in your bylaws, just seeing all the amazing work that you guys are doing. So I'm super excited for that. And just as a reminder, Liz Hamilton has been the director of OES since 2017. She has been the director and oversight for multiple events and fires and incidents. So we are very confident and capable. Our team is very well ready for any type of events that may be coming on.
So we got actually 2 Trinity Center items for you.
I have a radio for you too in my
Yeah,
office.
that's what I assumed 3. So radio was 1.
Uh-huh.
When are the sirens going to be ready to be tested?
You know, there needs to be a procedure and a policy created on it before those things get tested.
Okay.
So, yep,
So not this fire season.
probably not. I cannot
And then,
imagine.
we sponsored a grant for the Oddfellows Hall for
The generator,
the
yeah.
generator,
Mhm.
but we can't seem to get them to get Campora to install a propane tank.
Who's they?
You guys.
Okay, so
Your
they,
contractor, which is Sharp.
okay,
Oh,
so
my God.
Sharp, the contractor can't get Campora to put in the propane?
It's not there.
Okay,
So it just
So-
needs somebody to
Okay.
rattle some cages.
well, I appreciate that. That is definitely an OES discussion. We could talk that offline because that is not a fire safe council
Well, it-
measure, but
It kind of is
absolutely.
because the purpose of the generator is to make it a clean air
Okay,
site for fire season.
good, because I have a clean air annex that I want you guys to look at.
Anyway, so we just need to get somebody to get Sharp to get Campora to put in
Okay.
the tank.
So I left a message with Carol a few weeks back around the radio, and I haven't heard back from her.
She'll be home tonight.
Oh, okay, so yeah, let's get together and figure out what we can do to help support that. Anything else for OES that you want me to bring back to Director Hamilton, or anything that I could answer now?
In thinking about it, oftentimes Phil would give us updates on things like Ready Trinity and, anything that's related to kind of,
Prevention?
like, well, public outreach, public response, like public, facing response and stuff like that from OES with regard to current incidents and things of that nature.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I can tell. I'm happy to do that. So with the current fire situations that are going on, we are monitoring and working hand in hand with the sheriff's office and keeping communications with all of the current lightning fires. Nothing to be in big concern, but we always practice safety and prevention and being ready. So there is going to be a proclamation out in the Board of Supervisors on Tuesday around these events, just to ensure that if something does come up, the proclamation is already put
So
forth.
your emergency declaration. Okay, cool.
Just rather cover our bases, we've learned in the years that we keep things broad and open, otherwise, being able to receive state and federal funding back, it can be a hardship. So we are in that space now. We are already in communication with American Red Cross. We have teams set up within disaster service workers for the county. We are ready to stage anytime and anywhere within the county. We are fairly happy right now with where the events are. Thank God for all the rains. And that all the support that we have with CAL FIRE and Forest Service is, they are going to be staging at the park. I believe it's the Forest Service, so we're just really grateful for having all of the additional resources that are coming into our county. What other pieces? Ready Trinity. So Ready Trinity is, you know, we were able to migrate all of the Code Red information into Ready Trinity, and now folks are signing up for Ready Trinity. So when people sign up using the web-based system, we have staff that actually pull their legacy data out so that it doesn't compromise the information that they're putting in. All of that's done on the back end. We have multiple teams that work through Ready Trinity. If there's any events, we just want to make Ready Trinity a value. And so we know that that's not one person, that takes a team. And so through HHSA and our OES teams, we have people that if there's any event that we see, we make sure that it's put on there, even if we don't have a lot of information to actually add as meat. We want to make sure that the community knows that that event's there. The migration to the Genesis system, which is the mapping system that it took over, it was so wonderful that they were able to take all of that legacy data, because one thing as a taxpayer I have a hard time with is when we throw the baby out with the bathwater, and I can't tell you how many times that irks me. So for us to be able to utilize all that amazing stuff that RCD did and be able to move that into a platform that all of our partner counties are using, so that when our Forest Service or our Cal OES can look at the mapping, now they see everything, even our borders county. So in previous fires, a perfect example was when there was any of those fires that are borderline with Siskiyou County, and I'm kidding because I'm a Coffee Creek kid, so I just know how close those are. So with Siskiyou County and Trinity County, and they would have to go to 2 different maps in order to see zones. And it was something that actually created a opportunity of lack of communication. And that's where I'm saying, you know, we can always do better with communication. So bringing that into that Genesis system, we now have that ability to see all of the mapping and zones for it. So, you know, I just big comment, you guys have just done such an amazing job and partner with OES. So what other pieces of Ready Trinity do you guys want to hear?
I mean, the thing I hear from just folk is they're not sure whether or not I don't think there's been always a really clear message. If you had Code Red, do you need to go in and register for Ready Trinity?
Well, thank
I
you.
don't know how to answer
I think we'll get better at that as time comes. So the answer is, if you want, honestly, the legacy data did move with it. We were able to shift. If you had Code Red, it was able to shift into that new system.
Okay.
Ready Trinity. Here's the piece that I love to see people sign up, because the new system is very protective over your data. It is, even if in legacy data, when we were in Code Red, anybody in administration could be like, hey, I wonder if Skylar's, you know, information here. If you were in the new system, it is very protective. It would send you a text saying Trinity County administration is looking at your system. Also, it has so many questions in it. It asks you, you know, do you have dogs?
Okay.
Do you have somebody that may have an ability or a lack of ability to leave their home? Do you have medical issues in it? AFN status is there. And so if there were, instead of there was an event where we pulled that GIS mapping, our law enforcement would be able to be like, okay, we need to know everybody that had access to functional needs areas. Potentially, not now, because we don't have enough people on that part of it. They're still in the legacy data, but potentially they could look out and identify folks that may have access to functional needs and be able to be like, hey guys, I need my deputies to go here, here, and here, because they're gonna need to support these folks getting out. So we wanna contact them during the warning and not if it is an actual evacuation. So there's so much potential to, the alerting system. It's far more intuitive. What I heard with Under Sheriff Ward is that, his folks that that send out the emergencies and do the mapping, they said, from a 1 to a 10 based off of code red, versus the Ready Trinity system, this is a 8, and code red was a 1 to a 2. It was just not intuitive, and this they could just pull out really quick. So
how do we, how do we go about getting that message that there's additional information you could add?
Yeah, that's a
Because
really
people
good
are
question.
Because they hear, people stop listening when you say code red was migrated over to Ready
Yeah.
Trinity.
Uh-huh.
And they don't
Thank
go that
you.
next step, and so.
I will bring that up. We have a Ready Trinity team meeting. Skylar's part of that meeting. And we also have our county PIO part of that meeting. And so we can make sure that we bring that up, that needs to be
Yeah.
part of that messaging of, what's the perks of actually signing up
The
using
added
the Ready
value,
Trinity
yeah.
pieces. Yeah, that added value.
How did you guys work with, Ready Trinity to determine, the address system and the map?
That is way over my head. So Genesis is the software that uses the mapping system. That is I am not going to be a software expert on how they use the mapping, and that I know that Under Sheriff Ward and Sheriff Saxon, sorry, I lost my train of thought this afternoon. They have specialists on their team and their SARS teams that understand the mapping and the alerting systems and how to build that out. The Genesis system worked directly with them to help with that piece of it. As OES, we're here to support our law enforcement partners on what type of platform do they need, what kind of software do they need to make their job easier. We don't push back on micromanaging how they're going to put that in. We just want to make sure that it's intuitive.
So there are persistent problems with things like, and I'm just thinking of this from like a standpoint of average landowner who's gonna interact with the system and sign up their property, not necessarily some of the technical questions. I'm in Trinity Ready right now.
Trinity Ready or Ready Trinity?
Ready
Okay.
Trinity, sorry.
No, it's
to
okay.
Inverse those. And it looks like the map that I'm being asked to interact with is something like a Google map, and persistently Google map is not honoring sort of like road names and what the county addressing system is. And so my point ended up on the wrong side of the valley.
I get
Nowhere
that.
near where
Yeah.
my property is. So I just
So what would you
I
suggest?
always try to like try these things out. So when I
Uh-huh.
say to a landowner,
Yeah.
hey, you sign up through Ready Trinity and put in your
Address.
acknowledged physical address. It is a little disconcerting that it's going back to a Google map that has wrong road names and
So what would you
all of
suggest?
that.
So this is an issue that obviously affects a lot of people in a lot of ways,
Uh-huh.
not the least of which has to do with just like Amazon orders or whatever, but
Right.
because we've housed that address, like we house the Trinity County RCD or the data stewards for the county.
Uh-huh.
And through our work with the planning department specifically, we maintain and do addressing. So we have address points, to the best of our knowledge, for every single structure
Uh-huh.
in the county.
So
And so if they want appropriate like addressing, we could provide that information to them in geospatial format. And it would be accurate.
And I think it may be part of the software that was asked of us to put in, which is that mapping system. But I absolutely love that. I mean, if we can have an internal mapping that has a better system for us, because I get Google, when I was working as the incident commander for the COVID years incident, people would show up in Hayfort from Red Bluff because Google told them it was only a 25-minute drive for them to get a vaccine. And they would be actually out of power and they would come in electric vehicles and they were like, they have this white face on, so I get it. I totally understand that piece. If RCD has a better way, I think we can look at how we can we communicate that to the software.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of an aside, but it's somewhat related. We've attempted to provide accurate addressing to Google on numerous occasions, and they've never accepted it.
Yeah.
As authoritative data for the county, they've never accepted it. Where TomTom, which also is like one of the primary providers, like my Apple Maps app on my phone is more accurate with regard to addressing than Google is because of that.
Was this ever brought up to Philip in the past when this was going through?
Not really, because I didn't realize that. I mean, we've also been involved, obviously, like in the evacuation routes planning, and that was a lot of what Crystal has been working on over the past year. So, but to answer your question, not that I'm aware of. This is the first time that I've realized that. I think, and not having seen it, and because of the newness of Ready Trinity, this is like the kind of trial and error thing where people that live kind of outside of town, at least, will be seeing that more frequently than probably most people, that are using the system on a regular basis. But it's a problem, and so I guess from my perspective, if Trinity County OES has any ability to like leverage, like, hey, we have authoritative data, and this should be going out to Google, and it should be part of our system, we can provide all of that.
Okay. I think that's definitely a conversation we need to bring up to Director Hamilton and then be able to move forward with that. Yeah.
And I will say Code Red did this better. So
More accurately.
Oh, for the mapping piece?
Yeah, for being close to where you actually are located. And I'm not saying this as part of like a personal thing. I coach landowners when they're having incidents and how they get alerted, and so that's my primary concern with this. And I just happen to live in a place that's a really good way to stress test this whole issue.
And I would like to actually take this conversation offline and not on a public piece, because also the most important piece that we have is to ensure that our communities feel safe. And whenever we're having discussions like this could go into an area where it kind of loses community trust. And so I want to have these conversations and ensure that we're doing the best thing for our communities, but also not have that in this forum. Because this is I don't know where we're going with this right now. I'm hearing though the RCD piece.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Well, if we can get this addressed, it's kind of a long-standing issue that this sort of just
this is the first I've heard
carries
so thank
forward,
you.
Problems that have existed for quite a long time.
Oh, okay.
So that's great. That would be fantastic. Yes, Larry.
I just want everybody to remember that there's a reporter from the Trinity Journal listening to all this, so maybe you ought to appeal directly to their reporter.
I personally am fine with it because it's like an issue that just needs, it's not our fault. Like, that's the thing, is like, this is something that's clearly like kind of outside of the realm. And if there's a way that we can figure out a way to apply pressure and then make those changes for the better, the more power to us.
Yeah.
So
It's a piece that I'm curious with other counties that have used this system, how they've gone around that. So I think that's going to be the first thing we can do, is really start reaching out to our neighbor counties that are using the system and finding out, okay, what was their workaround with that, and then ensuring that we can, offer them a better choice.
Yep, fantastic, wonderful.
It sounds less like Ready Trinity and more like Google Maps.
That's definitely a Google Maps problem. Yeah, very good. Okay, we got that. That was a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I think it was important information to address. Anything else for Arena and Trinity County? Oh yes. Great, thank you for that report out and kind of fielding a lot of those questions on the fly. We appreciate that. All right, that brings us to Trinity County RCD. Shay, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Yeah. So I'll turn off my fan. Yeah, I'll start with our fuels crew is still busy. Downriver, thankfully, away from all the fires right now. So they're working on the CWDG grant with Humboldt County, and they've completed around 34 acres on 14 properties, and we're really proud of them this month. It's been really hot. So we've been getting all that work done. And then our forestry crew is still working on stand exams in Big Ranch to help with the planning document for that. And then what else? Oh, as at RCD, I can't remember if we discussed this last month, but we applied for the Cal Fire Wildfire Prevention Grant for the full ask for $950,000. We have not heard back of when they will announce whether we will receive that funding or not. Yeah, we're also collaborating with the watershed on getting, we're going to get your letter of support this week, Randy, for that is for your grant as well. And if anyone has any questions for me, I'm here.
Did you mention CWDG?
Yeah. I literally just got an email a few hours ago that we were awarded our Downriver CWDG for $7.9 million to do lots of private fuels reduction. Yeah, it feels weird that it's finally happening. I'm so happy. I'm very excited for this work to be done, and I will have a better update next time of where we're gonna hopefully start work and start planning.
Yeah, we saw the first draft of the agreement today. There's a few little things that need to be kind of addressed, but cool. We felt like that was solid progress. So yeah, so hopefully we'll have that signed and back to the region here shortly. So that's great.
Carol would want me to ask, how's the Hobel planning going?
We're still working on Hobel planning, so we're trying to get the air quality and like the burn permits to burn around the dump. We've almost finished all the planning for like the actual fuels reduction on the dump, but we're trying to figure out the best way to deal with the actual biomass that has been left at the dump site currently.
Okay. Yeah, cool. And it's mostly pine, so all the firewood snobs will leave it there.
Yeah, actually, our Dylan Kirkley, our environmental compliance specialist, went out to take some measurements and do some recon on the ground just today. So
yeah, cool.
So that piece is moving forward.
Great. And then how's rolling out McConnell going?
Oh yeah, sorry, I did miss that bullet point on my notes. But yes, they should have the contract with the Summit Forestry, who is the one who's chosen for the project, should be signed next week, is what we've been told. And we should also have our own new agreement for this phase 2 also signed by next week. We're just double checking all the acres and numbers and all the environmental compliance, but everything looks good. Everything's going through.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and we'll start letting next month we'll definitely have like a scheduled plan of work depending on like what winter and fires and stuff look like for the season.
Great. And Gina, you have your hand up.
Yeah, question for Shay on the CWDG. You said downriver, correct? Is that the Burnt Ranch to Big Flat?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I know we were just at the public meeting and some people were asking me for work in that area, and I was like, oh, we do, but we don't. And now I get to tell people and now you can share too that we do. So I'm very excited.
All right, looking forward to that. Right on.
Thanks so much, Gina.
Great. And Casey,
Yeah, you mentioned something about waiting on air quality burn permits or something. I haven't received anything for that, so if you don't mind just getting in contact with me because I haven't gotten any burn permit applications or smoke management plans or anything. So
Oh yeah, I think maybe Dylan's just working on the draft then. I thought he had asked you some questions, but maybe he was just asked internally first before bothering you.
okay, yeah, I haven't received anything, so I just wanted to, if you guys were waiting on something, I didn't get it, so just make sure you send it over and then we'll get working on it.
No, thank you so much for keep it up. Yeah, we'll definitely send something over. I'll make sure I'll poke Dylan too. Make sure he sends out something. Thanks.
great. Thank you, Shay. It's great. Crystal, do you have anything you would like to report out from the RCD side?
I'm working with Dylan Kirkley and Eric Bruce on the Weaverville Fuel Break project and trying to get our acreage to the target of 3,000. So been removing sections that are in riparian zones for our streams and trying to get that down. We still have to reduce it by about 600 acres or so.
Great. Thank you. Anything for
So is this ready to be put out to people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Anything from you, Emily?
Yeah, the Trinity County Office of Education's Hazard Mitigation Plan is going to public review, September 10th to October 10th. There's gonna be 2 community meetings, one in Hayfork on October 2nd at 5:30 at the high school. And then another one at Weaverville, October 9th at 5:30. That's gonna be at the Weaverville Fire Hall. So yeah, that's moving forward. And then the other thing is Charlie Holthouse's Fire Safe Trinity Award is going to the Board of Supervisors Tuesday meeting. So if you're gonna be there on Zoom or Discord or whatever, it's going that way. So hopefully we will hopefully they'll approve. Yeah, that's all from me.
Great, thank you. We do not have anything to add at this time. So any questions or comments for the RCD? Hearing none. Okay, we'll move forward to U.S. Forest Service Shasta Trinity side. Nate, still on there? Yep, there you are.
Sure am. One of our prevention folks just stopped in the office and wanted me to share out that our prevention folks are sharing out trailer safety chain covers made of old fire hose that have a fire prevention message on them, as well as tire pressure gauges. So you'll find those out in the community being distributed. And then to my agenda, I'm sure you all are curious about the current fire situation. This week, with the multiple lightning events we've had, we're up to about 20 lightning caused ignitions on the Big Bar and Weaverville Ranger districts. All of those are staffed. We have about 5 more that are reported. Some of those we believe to be duplicates of already known incidents, just reported in the wrong location. And some of those are unable to locate at this time. And that's using infrared data, as well as a lot of boots on the ground looking at every hillside. The vast majority of those starts are up in the Trinity Alps. All of our known fires are staffed at this time. The largest fire that we have on district is the Peak near Granite Peak. Currently about 290 acres. Our folks, as well as a whole bunch of resources coming in, are making excellent progress on that. I'm sure you've seen a lot less smoke in the air than the first couple nights. With that, we also have an incident management team coming in to take command of that. It'll be California Team 2. They will be setting up an ICP at Loudon Park today. So expect a pretty significant influx of fire traffic around Weaverville and then the Highway 3 corridor. Again, making really good progress on that fire. And the other 19 known fires, feeling really good about those. All of those have been between a tenth and 3 acres, a tenth of an acre and 3 acres. So currently feeling pretty good. It's been a busy week, but all things considered, feeling pretty good about what we got going on right now. Any questions on that?
Nate, what does ICP stand for?
That's an incident command post. That's where firefighters will be sleeping, where the command staff will be doing their business.
Thank you.
Yep, where folks will be fed, things like that. Any other questions?
Is the team just taking the peak, or they're going to take all 20?
They are taking the peak. Again, with the progress we made on the other 20, we're feeling pretty good about those. And then additionally, I'm sure those in the North County have seen some scooper aircraft working out of the lake. So just be a heads up for that if you're planning to do any recreating, and I'll make sure that we're getting information out to give those scooper aircraft room on the lake, room to work. No other questions. I'll move on to regularly scheduled stuff. Priorities for broadcast burning this fall will be west side of Jackass Ridge, common project area for broadcast burning for us. Hoping to get quite a few of those units on the west side taken care of this year to really set the Watershed Center fire program up for success as they continue good work on the private property adjacent to that. We have burn plans in progress for Lake Forest Plantations, Squirrel Flat at the north end of Trinity Lake, and our hatchery unit, which is across from the Lewiston Fish Hatchery on that peninsula. We have a pretty robust program of pile burning this year, including Pettyjohn, some stuff in Trinity camps, like the Stony Swim area, Lake Forest Plantations, and then just various machine piles that are throughout the woods, left over from harvest activities as well as suppression repair activities. So we'll have a pretty robust program for piles, thinking about 700 acres total across the districts, and then maximizing our broadcast opportunities. Then continuing with manual mechanical type work, we have a contractor slated to get started in Bowerman for that awarded contract very soon. Hoping to pick work back up in Pettyjohn as well, and working with the RCD to get units in Trinity camps and Bowerman implemented sooner than later. I think that's what I have for now. Any questions about general program work for this winter?
Nate, this is Pat. So the Bowerman contractor, that's mechanical work, that's gonna be non-commercial stuff?
Yep.
Okay.
Non-commercial. And then we also have a timber sale going out for bid very soon in Bowerman as well. I'm not the expert on that.
Okay.
Cody Carter is.
Okay, Carol and I were out there a week or so ago. I mean, the work, I guess it's SPI that's been working pretty heavily.
Yep.
It looks great. I mean, it's exactly what I think we all intended when we were starting that project. So great, thank you.
I'm glad to hear that, Pat. That SPI work that Pat's mentioning is through that $75 million grant that SPI was awarded, and we were lucky, lined up well with the Watershed Center completing the planning on that project that we were able to get it implemented within just a few weeks after signature. So that's mechanical work in what we're going to be timber cell units down low across from Hobel Dump, as well as handwork a little bit up higher. And I agree, I think it looks pretty good.
And all the decks, those logs, those are gonna be put out to bid also?
Yep, those are in a sale right now that's also out for bid.
Cool. Need to get some press in the Trinity Journal on this project. It really looks great.
Yeah, I know CAL FIRE and SPI put together
Gosh, Rosine will take
pretty
it out there.
awesome video about that. So I'm not sure if that's been released yet, but it should be coming out soon.
Is Josh back? Oh, pretty so.
Jerry, you have your hand up.
Yeah, Nate, what's the status of the pilot project? Has it gone out for bid again, or is it still?
It has, and I believe a bid was awarded, but I haven't heard.
Oh, okay. So
it was repackaged and went out for bid again. And last I heard, they were reviewing bids on that.
oh, good. Okay, so we got some bids. Good. Thanks.
Great. Anything, maybe we'll get that answered when Randy comes back in. She might have a report from Watershed Center, but we'll check on that. Anything else for Nate and Shasta Trinity? Okay, hearing none. Thank you very much, Nate. That was a great report. One thing Shay dropped in this is for the people in the room here. Shay dropped in the chat that the RCD crews will be returning from the field at 3 p.m. So if anybody has a parked vehicle between the pines over here, we could please use them moved.
Oh, that might be why Randy left.
She'll be back. That's
why I left.
That's so just
I always get RC and B and RCD confused, so I over by RC and B. Now you don't.
You're clear then. You're clear. I'm not going anywhere. So that was wise.
General geography curiosity, I was just wondering about Petty John. Is that down by Pinefall?
No, Petty John is it refers to an area before you get to the lake. It's like basically kind of like between it's between Trinity and Boulevard and the lake.
Okay.
And from like Rush Creek over to Lewiston
Gotcha.
ish.
This side of the tannery campground.
Right.
I think I was thinking of Pelletro.
Pelletro Ridge is
That's
down
fine.
out by
That's
Pine Pond.
right.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Thank you for that.
Okay, very good. Let's move on. Adam Kuntz with the Six Rivers National Forest. You got a report for us?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Wonderful.
All right, so Skylar, I want to apologize for not getting the shape files for the ARC online request that you had. Still working on it, and I will get that to you. As far as Mad River goes, our wildfire and preparedness, we haven't had any major incidents to report, fortunately. We've been spared from a lot of lightning activity that happens on the other side of South Fork. So we've been sitting pretty well. We did have one incident on July 28th, just off of Highway 36 in between Dinsmore and the district office, the Berry wildfire, which we caught at 11 acres with a lot of assistance from visiting resources as well as CAL FIRE. So it was on private property, and we were able to knock it down pretty quickly. The crews did a great job. But aside from that, we've been spared pretty fortunately. But we've been maintaining about 7 to 9, just depending on the time frame. 7 to 9 engines, additional engines on the district, mostly contract engines, but with some agency and state out of state fire departments jumping in. So if you're in the Ruth area, you've probably seen quite a few different engines around. But they've been helping us complete a lot of different work on the district, including opening some of our major roads and completing some fuels projects for us. And they've been doing some piling in some of our fuels units down in the Acre Woods timber sale, which is down near the Xenia Guard Station, and then up into the Lassix. So we're trying to prep those roads both for firefighter access and then late season hunting, stuff like that in the south part of the county. As far as community updates go from Six Rivers and Mad River, like Larry mentioned, we had the South Fork Mountain Trinity Collaborative field trip on the 15th, and we sincerely appreciate all of the input that the collaborative provided to us, and we hope that we did a good job explaining. And it sounds like you had most of your questions answered when you had the meeting with the Rangers, but that was a super informative meeting, and we really appreciate it. The community firewood stocking is going really well at Ruth. We've got the Watershed Center is doing some really great work for us in the first 48 area, which is just adjacent to the east of the Ruth Guard Station. And we've got our heavy equipment group out there pulling a lot of the hardwoods that are being cut as part of the fuels treatment, and some of the fire kill hardwoods from the August complex that didn't make it. So a lot of that wood is going to be ending up at the Ruth Guard Station for the public firewood cutting. And it sounds like we're doing a really good job getting that stocked. So when winter rolls around, we should have a lot of firewood for folks that, they don't have to go out in the woods. They can just get it right there at the guard station. As well as running the air curtain burner, our equipment operator, Jay Dillon, has been feeding that thing pretty constantly as PAL days allow. And so he's always super busy and doing great work for us. Moving on to some of the fuel stuff. Oh, actually, sorry, one more thing on the community. Right now, Mad River is in the process of helping TCRCD work on the County Road 502, specifically the school section just north of Hettenshaw Valley, in between Hettenshaw and Ruth Lake, working on a hazard tree abatement contract, which is going to be approximately 120 acres off the top of my head. Dropping a lot of those uphill trees so that they stop striking County Road 502 in the school section where it gets really windy. So we're going to be working on that with TCRCD and trying to get that move that project forward so that we can get a lot of those hazard trees taken care of from the August complex. Get them on the ground, get them out of the woods, and hopefully keep 502 open through that pretty narrow section of road. So we're working through that right now and making really good progress. We just made some significant progress and got some maps and the scope of work back to the RCD. So hopefully we're going to move that forward here pretty quickly. So ideally by this winter, there's more trees coming out of there so that we aren't closing the road down or having that road closed down on the Forest Service section of the road. As far as fuels work goes, some big accomplishments. We just finished 2 agreements and they're either in review or have been signed and awarded for NCRC and WRTC. So Randy, good news. We were able to come across some different funding sources that are going to be focused on primarily timber opportunities, but a lot of those for us specifically and our partners are going to be surveys from anything from northern spotted owl to soil surveys, botany surveys, etc. And for WRTC, a lot of that is going to be a lot of fuels work that's going to be integrated with trying to get some timber packages out for bid as we move into some of these areas that we need to thin anyway, and we can get some fuels work done in them as well. So pretty substantial amount of money that's going to be that we're going to be partnering with NCRC and WRTC to do work over the next 5 years. As far as fuels work go, I'm going to steal some of Randy's thunder. So WRTC has been doing some excellent work up on Mad Ridge Fuel Break sections 4 and 5, which are in between the Hettenshaw Valley and AA Ranch. It's going to be about 300 acres when it's complete. They've done a really awesome job with the lop and scatter and a lot of handwork. but they're also doing some machine piling for us as well as mastication. So we're excited to see that when it's all complete, and it sounds like that's on short final. So they've also moved over into the first 48 areas I kind of mentioned. That'll be about 215 acres, give or take, when that's all completed, hopefully by the end of the year. So that's going to be a re-entry into an area that is a big part of the collaborative group. Was pretty instrumental in that. So just refreshing the fuel break, taking out a lot of the understory vegetation, and trying to clean that area up, as well as opening some of our dispersed camping sites that are in that area. And then hopefully longer term, looking at some oak woodland restoration and some landscape burning, understory burning in those areas. I'm starting to get an idea of what we need to do in there. And I've been working with Nancy pretty consistently, trying to come up with a plan on that and how WRTC can make that happen for us through their fuels endeavors, so that we can burn those hopefully in the next couple of years and work on some oak woodland restoration. And then as far as burning and pile burning in particular for this fall and winter, we have the D70 burn plan in for review with our supervisor's office and our fire and aviation management folks. To get that reviewed, it'll be the first type 2 burn that Mad River's done in a while. It's going to be 70 acres on the northern part of Mad Ridge Fuel Break, which is just south of the district office on Highway 36. It's 70 acres over 5 different units that range in size from about 1.5 acres up to about 35 acres. So we're hoping to do that in November if everything aligns, and we can get the right conditions to get out there. And we'll either burn most of the units or hopefully all 70 acres when it's all said and done. But we have a lot of piles, obviously, from the August complex, as well as some active timber sales on the district. In particular, a lot of the work that was done by WRTC last year on Mad Ridge Fuel Break, just north of Pettinshaw Valley. We've got a lot of piles that we need to get after, as well as the first 48. There's a lot of piles left over from past projects and past repair projects in that area. As well as the Acre Woods timber sale that is still active near the Xenia guard station. They're now north of 502, but everything around the guard station has been piled, and we're looking to get in there and do some pretty good burning. There's some pretty massive piles down there, so we're going to try to get that cleaned up. And then we've got a few more piles up in the Lasix area. Some of that kind of falls into Humboldt County in certain parts, but a lot of it is still in Trinity County. So hopefully we're seeing some good smoke in the air this winter. But that's about all I have for Mad River, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Great, Adam. Thank you. Anybody have anything or questions or comments for Adam? Six Rivers. Not hearing any. I guess we're moving on. Thanks again, Adam. I appreciate that. I know that we're getting close to, we're a little past our normal time, but we've had a lot of really big topics today. So we got just a few more reports. Weaverville Volunteer Fire Department. Chris.
My fuels crew, we have now 62 properties on our list. We've completed about 45-ish. I've got 10 more to go. Remainders, we're not able to. They're asking us to do things that we can't do, or I can't get a hold of them. On top of that, I'm guessing we're probably around 20 days of fire suppression for riding our engines and stuff. We just came off of a Cal OES has now twice this summer now allowed us to have a local in-county strike team for pre-position for the lightning events that we had. So we just came off of 2 days of pre-position. Then now we're assisting Cal Fire with some of their fires that they've got.
Great. Well, thank you, Chris. Anything for Chris and Weaverville VFD? Hearing none. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. On to Willow Creek Fire Safe Council. Gina.
Yeah, Willow Creek Fire Safe Council is staying busy, maintaining all the upkeep monthly bills and such, along with Jen, our new coordinator that's filled in for Olivia. All of our CWDG stuff, she's responsible for that and the PG&E grant that we have actively going on. The PG&E grant's looking good. The work's being done on Brannon Mountain, and the CWDG is starting up with a few different polygons along the bottom of Brannon Mountain behind the infrastructure, the church, the PG&E, and the school north there on 96. So little pieces are coming together with that. That's looking good. We had our community meeting as a group on August 20th. About 30 different public entities showed up. It was a good turnout, a lot of good questions and updates. And so Willow Creek Fire Safe Council is also doing the Firewise certification for just within that fire district. That is kind of in process. We're going to help out with Salyer. Me being a Trinity County resident, that will include my input that I still need. Bumping into, I guess, continuing with Salyer stuff. Just want to look forward to, I like that table training that recently happened that you guys offered. I just want to see what else our small communities can open their eyes, just get people more involved. And that's not limited to Trinity County, it's just Humboldt. People get kind of lax. And you like that first meeting, we had 60 some people and there was only 30 this go round. We didn't offer a Zoom, but there's a lot of good information coming out. I ran into a PG&E worker yesterday and he made a comment. We noticed the work you guys are doing. And so that's all up and down our river communities from Hawkins Bar, down through Willow Creek. So good job, everyone. And we have a monthly meeting next Thursday again already. It's September. And our last meeting was good. We had some good people. One that really inspired me, one of our Zoom participants was from Caltrans and vegetation management. They are looking forward to partnering with someone within their district. I think they're District 1. Anyway, it's all of Willow Creek down towards 96, possibly clear to Cedar Flat, and east or west on 299, whatever our jurisdiction is in that area. And what they described was they liked when after the snow down, how the contractor brushed the side of the road. I don't know if they're hoping for something like that, but they have the grant writers. They just want for us to provide a coordinator. And what I anticipate is turnouts, bigger, larger turnouts, because they're limited to their fences, which I believe is their guardrails. If we can take a turnout and go into whether it be public lands or private lands, brush that out, clear that out, thin it out, it could be a temporary ICP. It could be, just the view shed. And people are dumping debris in our turnouts. So if we can keep it brushed up and cleaned up is going to be a good thing. And I think that what I'm really excited about is the invasive weeds, which our state highways are covered with Scotch broom. Every other turnout is it's bad that we maybe will be able to tackle that. I don't know how soon or not, but that is something else I'm looking forward to for the Willow Creek Fire Safe Council. It's just our active grants is what's keeping us going. Our indirect cost has been helping us pay the rent and utilities and insurance on our chipper and different things. So being a nonprofit organization with all volunteers besides our one admin person part-time that we've brought on, we're making it. We're doing good. Wrapping things up for getting ready to the end of the year, and that certification is a big one. I do have a question for the group is what's it look like for YCC youth programs? I know that Kristen Lark over on the Mad River kept one last year or was able to fund a group. Maybe it was the year before. But is that happening? And what's that rack? And how can we encourage our area, like whether it be the Forest Service, YCC, or youth programs, I feel is important. We have our local Dream Quest that we want to maybe partner up with the state or the Step Up program. But I haven't heard much on the YCC youth programs lately. Is there anything on that?
Gina, this is Pat. I'll take a crack at that. So
Okay.
the Six Rivers YCC crews were being funded by Secure Rural Schools Title II. And currently there is no Secure Rural Schools bill that has been authorized. So there isn't any funding from that source anymore. Hopefully somewhere along the line, Secure Rural Schools will get reauthorized, but right now it's not going anywhere.
Okay, good to know. And I guess I just want.
And did
go ahead.
Watershed Center, did you guys expend your last round of that this past year?
I will admit that I'm not really tracking where they're at with the funding for those crews. That's outside of my program, so I apologize.
Fair. No worries, just on the desk.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
the Watershed Center has been kind of more active in getting YCC crews, through that funding source. But I just didn't know where they stood with their most recent award. So that'd be something to check in with. I guess it'd just be Josh Smith, right?
It would be Josh Smith would be the best person, and then he could like point you in the right direction. We did have somebody move on from the recreation program, and so we are in a transition with who exactly is tracking all those details. So Josh is the best person, and he's Josh at thewatershedcenter.com.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we're all looking good down here. It's been warm on Monday on South Fork here. We were pounded with rain. We got a lot of rain, lightning all around us, and the turnouts and the yard is still dusted down. It's like it was refreshing. So that's it for the Willow Creek Fire Safe Council. Unless there's any question.
Great, thank you, Gina. Anything for Gina and the Willow Creek Fire Safe Council?
I was wondering what the Firewise certification, what was that? I think that's something that's across both.
It's statewide. It's like everywhere, right? Because the Willow Creek Fire Safe Council we're responsible for just within the Willow Creek Fire District. And so the Trinity County has the 14 different communities. And so Salyer is its own, Burnt Ranch is its own, Hawkins Bar is its own. So yeah, it's through NFPA, right?
CAL FIRE helps coordinate it like statewide for California, but it's a community that has a defined boundary, a volunteer board. It meets a minimum annual investment requirement, like either financially or in volunteer hours in doing wildfire risk reduction activities. And then there has to be a 5-year risk assessment on defensible space and home hardiness for that community. And then also a 3-year action plan for education and outreach, defensible space, home hardening, and evacuation planning.
And when communities receive a Firewise certification, is that something that they can provide to their insurance companies so that they can show, hey, boy, we definitely want to get some communication out on that, because that really helped a lot of our, and this is, a lot of places, the first time I've heard of it. So
yeah, you are eligible for an insurance discount if you are within a Firewise community.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely want to get some of that stuff into however we
try to share that in our website. We try to share that information for both counties. Being the Willow Creek Fire Safe Council does take in 2 counties, 2 national forests, 2 state division highways.
You're a border town.
And yeah, and I'm on South Fork. It's a whole nother world, but I am in the neighborhood of Salyer. So
oh my God.
Yeah. Alrighty. Thanks
Great,
for being here, everyone.
Thanks, Gina. Appreciate it. That brings us to Randy in the Watershed Center.
I'll just stick to kind of the big news. Of course, we are wrapping up northern spotted owl surveys. August is sort of the deadline there. That helps facilitate a lot of our veg management work. So botany crews and forestry crews and fuels crews are out and about. But just to highlight some of the big things, the contract for, the pilot project timber sale was in fact awarded. We did need to put funding on that. I don't know, I would love to have an in-depth discussion. I don't know what venue is right, but of the things that we found that were difficult to help make that go.
Well, that would be the collaborative, that's why it's a pilot project.
Yeah, so I think it's a good discussion, but I know, people were curious about, when that contract would be awarded. We had to rework and refly the contract in order to make it go. Work will likely start this calendar year. So good news, everybody.
Yay.
And then, the watershed center, now that Bowerman is signed, we are working with the Forest Service to get the Junction City Community Protection, I'm sorry, it's a long name, but there's community protection project being planned around Junction City. So we are working to get that prepared for public outreach. There's, it's a world in transition and some of the language around planning is going to be changing for folks. So, what was formerly known as scoping is being called public outreach. So we will probably be doing a somewhat normal formal process to do that, where a letter goes out and asks for feedback on the project design. And we're expecting that in September to come out. And, so I just want to let people know that there will likely be things like, field trips and whatnot. Yeah, I guess I'm just feeling like we're going long. So those are the two biggest sources of news for, the watershed center.
Great, thanks, Randy.
Is it an IRSC? The contract, was that an IRS?
It's, somewhat equivalent to that. Yeah, because it's in a stewardship agreement and we're managing the project. It doesn't quite, equate to the same contracting categories as if it was the Forest Service, administering.
So Watershed Center is holding the contracts. The contracts with the loggers, for example, are with Watershed Center. And is the whole thing now under contract, or has it been broken up into multiple contracts, or are all of those multiple contracts done? Like what percentage of it's on contract?
So the Forest Service actually put a contract out last year, a service contract to operate within the, project area. All of the best commercial opportunities have been packaged in this contract that just got awarded. And then, there will be ongoing service work in the project area. Like the Watershed Center got Forest Health funding to help implementation and match everything. So yeah, right now, I believe the Forest Service contract is closed out, so the only active contract will be the one that's dealing with the commercial products. Did I get at all the pieces? Okay.
But the whole area has had something now. It's now under something.
Yeah.
We can talk later.
I guess so.
It's getting a little easy now. I don't need to playwright this conversation. I'm definitely interested in that project.
Great. Any other comments or questions for Randy and the Watershed Center?
It's been great working with Sophia on community chipping. She is so quick with the information and great to work with.
It is really nice to have her back.
Is Sophia from locally? Sophia Sadie, she lives in something down the river.
Suzy Q area, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she had been involved with the Willow Creek Fire Safe Council, and then we kind of stole her. So, she's really great. So, yeah, we appreciate all the coordination that happens with the team here on the community shipping project. So.
Great. Well, if there's nothing else, greatly appreciate everybody hanging on to the end here. We went a little bit longer than usual, but like I said, I think there was some good conversations. We got covered a lot of ground today. So next meeting is September 25th, standing fourth Thursday of each month, from 1 to roughly 3. So thank you all for joining. And if there's nothing else for the good of the order, I think we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Randy?